So, good day everyone. You are watching today reporting of Group 5 on Understanding the Self, and we are from Bsed-Science. So, I am Barino, and today we will discuss about learning to be a better learner. So, what do you mean by learning? When we hear the word learning, it's very easy for us to define what is it. So learning is the process of knowledge we gain from a specific instruction, demonstration, or situation. Now, for example, you are listening or you are watching to our discussion, and by that, you gained knowledge on our topic. And the process is what we call learning, as you gain knowledge of what do you mean by learning to be a better learner. So next is metacognition. Metacognition, no? So meta means self or beyond itself. And cognition or cognitive means to understand or to know. So in short, metacognition is to understand or to know itself or beyond itself or ourself. So it is being aware of our own thinking or our own learning process.
Metacognition involves knowledge of cognition and regulation of cognition. Knowledge of cognition. This means being aware of what you know and how you know it. For example, realizing that you remember information better when you take notes during a lecture. While regulation of cognition, this involves managing your own learning process. For instance, adjusting your study strategies if you notice you're not understanding a concept well, such as switching from reading to actively discussing the topic with peers. So, what are the differences between the knowledge of cognition and regulation of cognition? The knowledge of cognition refers to understanding how cognitive processes work, such as memory, perception, and problem solving. On the other hand, the regulation of cognition involves cognitive process, like using strategies to enhance memory or attention. In essence, knowledge of cognition is about understanding, while regulation of cognition is about actively influencing or controlling the cognitive functions. So, metacognition is like being the boss of your own learning, knowing what you know and being able to adjust your approach when needed.
So my co-group mates already discussed what is metacognition. So my task today is to discuss what are the variables of metacognition. So the first variable of metacognition is the person. So the person refers to the variables that includes how you see yourself as a learner and your knowledge of how you learn the task or the lesson. So this variable states that a student can easily identify if he or she is a fast learner or not. So for example, Sheena and Anna. So Sheena is more knowledgeable, or let's say Sheena can easily understand the topic in chemistry, while Anna needs more time to understand the said topic. So based on the example, Sheena is more knowledgeable, or Sheena is a fast learner compared to Anna, which is slow learner because she needs more time to understand the topic. So that's the person variable of metacognition. So let's discuss the second variable of metacognition. So the second variable is the task. So task refers to what you need to accomplish. It also includes the requirements or the expectation about the learning task. So in this variable, from the word task, so it is the activities that a student need to finish on the right time. And also the outcome of this or the task will be finished according to what is being expected. So for example, the teacher has a task to a student to paint the latest issue in the community. So of course, the student should do the task. And then the outcome of this task should be creative and related to the said topic. So that's the task variable. So let's tackle the last variable of metacognition. So the last variable is the strategy. So when you hear the word strategy, so it's very understandable. Well, strategy variable or strategy variables refers to the effective ways of tackling learning skills. It is the form of brainstorming, like for example, listening, note-taking, applying memory skills, reviewing, test taking, and reading, and many more kind of strategies. It's up to a student of or where he or she is comfortable with and can understand the lesson more. So for example, in my situation, so I prefer in applying memory skills. So like I like memorizing the lessons. That's why that's the way of that's the way or my strategy in having a good grades or passing grades. So that's the strategy. So again, the three variables of metacognition are person, task, and strategy variables.
Tips on how to apply metacognition task. First, listen to your teacher's instruction. Be sure you understand the details, what needs to be learned, and how to accomplish. Listening to your teacher's instructions is very important because it helps you understand what you need to learn and how to accomplish the certain task. It allows you to follow along with the lesson, ask questions when needed, and complete assignments correctly. By actively listening and understanding the details provided, you can enhance your learning experience and achieve better outcome. Second, find out how the task will be scored and evaluated. The scoring and evaluation of a task typically involves assessing the quality and completeness of the work based on predetermined criteria. This helps determine the level of understanding and proficiency demonstrated by the student. Third, determine the amount of time and materials needed. To determine the amount of time and materials needed, you would need to estimate the duration of the task or project and calculate the quantity and type of materials required.
Number 4, stick to the task. Usa ni sa pinaka-importante nga tip on how to apply metacognition task. So, mo sa stick to the task. For example, gitagaan karon og task sa imong teacher. Like paton-on ka. Then pag tuon mo like sa cellphone ra gatuon, sa PDF. Yan kahit syempre mo kahit og nay mo chat mo pop up dito sa cellphone ka gawas. Then karon kato nga chat mahimo tong distraction nimo. Pag imong gituplok syempre na curious ka o kung sa chat imong gituplok. Then dugay dito wala gatuplok na ni-reply ka dun sa na-chika dito hangtod ang imong task imo na biyaan mao nang ilikay if mo na ilikay na mo yun ilikayan ninyo para mahuman ninyo yung task, focus yun mo sa task, di mo padala sa distraction. Okay, so next is ang periodically check on the progress. Periodically check on the progress is, for example, mo ni siya gitagaan grade 7 ta sa Filipino pahimuon ta og comics dayon mo no. But if maghimo ang comics, syempre by page na nag-abot nimo sa kaitan makahimo na ka o inaabot na ka sa page 3 page 3 while nahuman na ka sa page 3 imo ang buhaton mubalik ka sa nahuman nimo nga kaitan page 1 o nahuman ka sa page 1 page 2 bay mo tong nahuman ka sa page 3 imo na sa tambalikon ang page 1 basahon to nimong hitabo sa page 1 o page 2 hangtod sa page 3 hangtod sige kag maabot na ka sa page 10 imo nagyapong basahon tong sa kinaunan hangtod sa mo na siya mahimo na siyang technique na mo ko mahimo siyang technique nimo para while gabasa ka sa imong gabalik kasi imong progress ka nahuman nimo dito ka makasud og kag mga idea gani nga mao na mo na nahitabo so ako na punan o ingon ani ana ba like imo siyang while nag-check ka sa progress nimo makakuha sa kag mga idea nga pwede nimo mabutang sa imong gihimo nga task. Managing your own learning, self-regulated learning. Self-regulated learners are not told to study and learn. Rather, they seek to learn and they are eager to learn, determined to succeed. So, if self-regulated learners learner kay wala ka, dili ka magtuon, dili ka mag-study tungod kay gisugo ka mag-study ka. Ang self-regulated learner kay nagtuon sila kay gusto nilang makat-on. Muna siya ang self-regulated learner. For example, ato ikuan sa relationship pero pareha na gud nang mag-usab nang nakay bisyo, palahubog ka nakay Paris kadi siya ganahag palahubog then mahimo man nga imo sang tawag mag-usab ka kasagaran sa uban kay mag-usab kay para sa ilahang partner dili na siya mao imong buhaton mag-usab ka para sa imong kaugalingon. Pareha ra wala ka gisugo nga mag-usab ka, wala ka gisugo nga magtuon ka. Sa imo ra kaugalingon nga if ganahan jud ka magtuon jud ka, dili ka padala sa mga wala ka gisugo, wala ka gistorya ka Christian, pagtuon dia pagtubuhatan ni if self-regulated learner ka kay ug unsa imong determinado jud ka mo imo kagkuan ba makat-on ka masaksid mo na siya ang self-regulated learner.
So the 3 steps in developing self-regulation are the adherence, identification, and internalization. So what's come up to your mind when you hear these 3 words? So let's take up first about the adherence. So the adherence is the attachment or commitment to a person, cause, or belief, or it is sticking to or being faithful to, such as student adherence to school rules. They follow what are the school rules. So we can call that adherence, about the faithfulness, loyalty, the obedience, the cohesion, and the constancy. So next is the identification. So the identification is the action or process of identifying someone or something or the fact that being identified. So from the word identified, identification. So including any name from social security, number, date of birth. So it is one of the example of the identification, like our school ID. We are enrolled in CTU Moalboal. So some people will identify us as a student of CTU Moalboal campus because we're wearing an ID that symbolizes our identification that we study in that school. So if someone asks our identification, we can also tell our name, our birthday, and where we live. So they can identify that, I know that person. So the third is the internalization. So internalization, it is the action of accepting or observing an idea, opinion, belief, so that it become part of your character. So some children are more susceptible to the internalization of parental values and expectation than others. So as they grow older, they show signs of social maturity and internalization of responsibility. So from the word internalization, so observe being an idea, opinion, belief, so we can learn it from, it is part of our character and we can learn from it. So that's the 3 steps in developing the self-regulation.
So, in conclusion, learning is continuous. Walang pinipiling oras, walang pinipiling lugar, at walang pinipiling tao. We are learning because we want to grow and we want to be better. But we must not forget to use our mind in order for us to think carefully what's the better. And I believe that we must think before we click. So, thank you everyone for watching, and I hope you gained something from our discussion for today.